Let's be honest, this is just your average low-budget, hipstery, post-apocalyptic, end-of-the-world treasure hunt movie with monsters and aliens. And we've all seen plenty of those, right? What? You haven't? Well, neither had I, until I saw this, and that's exactly what this is. It's a strange creation straight from the mind of A.T. White. He's the director, writer, editor, and composer. He wrote the score too. And I have to say, just purely on a surface level, this is a well-made movie. It has great cinematography, I like the score a lot, it's just a really polished, well-made movie. But it starts off really strange, straight out the gate. There's this little intro sequence, or whatever you wanna call it, and it's real weird and kinda cryptic. It just teases you, but doesn't really give you anything to work with. It doesn't really tell you what's going on or what the movie is actually about. And then we meet this young woman who's recently lost someone. It's not made clear exactly who, but it seems to be someone close to her. And then suddenly things go wrong and this turns into some sort of end-of-the-world survival thing, with these alien monsters, pretty much out of nowhere. But I really liked what they did with the aliens though. They used them sparingly, and didn't show a whole lot of them early on. They just sorta implied that they were there. Which adds to the suspense because yeah, there are also some horror elements to this. I definitely wouldn't call this a horror movie, but there are some of that in there. I wouldn't call this a post-apocalyptic movie either, but there are some of that in there too. I would also have a hard time calling it sci-fi or fantasy, but there's some of that in there too. And I called it hipstery because, well, it does ooze hipster elements too. There are record players, tape decks, cozy little apartments, and weird outfits. A treasure hunt and a mixtape is involved in the story too. And a tortoise, because why not? And just so things didn't get too boring, they threw in a whole anime sequence. You know, just like in Kill Bill, there's suddenly a beautifully drawn anime sequence in the middle of it. Made by a professional Japanese team of 43 people according to IMDb. And by the way, all of this happens before it finally decided to go meta on me. Really meta. But I don't want to spoil anything, so that's all I'm gonna say about that. But it does one of these things that you're either gonna love or you're gonna hate. And well, I think that goes for most of the movie as a whole too. I don't think anyone's gonna come away from this thinking it was bland. But I could see a lot of people hating it, and I get it, I completely understand. Because I was sort of torn for most of the movie too. I liked it, but I also really didn't. I liked just about everything about it, quite a bit actually. Except the story. For most of the movie, like 95%, I didn't care for the story at all. So there was this huge disconnect for me between the story and the rest of it. And because of that, I didn't really know how to feel about it as a whole. I haven't actually been this split about the movie in quite a while. But then the end came around and I actually liked what they did with it. For some reason it won me over, it kinda redeemed itself. Some of that definitely had to do with the fact that they included my favorite Sigur Rós song. But I genuinely liked where they took the story, and it was one of the few possible endings that I could actually get on board with. Now again, I don't think this is a movie most people will like. And I can see why. It's weird, it's cryptic, it's honestly a little bit silly. But it looks and sounds fantastic, and it's brimming with creativity. And I can't fault it on a technical level at all, not even the CGI. I mean, it's perhaps not world class, but it's used sparingly, and to great effect. And for a low-budget movie like this, it's not bad at all. I've seen far worse. So yeah, as a whole, I ended up liking this, and halfway through I did not expect to. But it won me over, and yeah, it was a unique experience for sure. But would I recommend it? If you like movies that are a bit out there, definitely. But if you want a clear, well-structured story that makes 100% sense, then no. So maybe check it out, maybe don't. I'm not your dad. But I am trying to sell out, so consider liking, subbing, hitting that bell and supporting me on Patreon. Because I really need to get myself a pet tortoise to talk to. And hey, why not drop a comment below or check out another review? I'd appreciate it. Thanks.